good to have you back on Kenyan soil from a month ago. You're up against Gabon, who are on the verge of in strong contention to qualify for the World Cup. How have you prepared your boys for this occasion?
Well, obviously preparation's still ongoing. We've just had our one session yesterday after everyone arriving sort of quite late on Monday, but it was a good first session. We hope to have another good one today. We know Gabon are a tough opponent. Us and Gabon have an interesting history between each other. You know, we can't say we're the best of friends. There's been some very competitive games over the years and one or two things off the field. Even 18 months ago in one of my first games, we went to Franceville and were leading at half-time and really could have been 2 or 3 goals ahead, and then half-time was 1 hour long because the lights went out in the stadium for an hour. So second half it ended up 3-2 to our hosts, but again a very, very close and competitive game. We expect the same on Friday. You know, our guests, Gabon, have everything to play for. Obviously, they're in a very tight race with the Ivory Coast for the first position in the group. But look, this is in 4 years' time, 5 years' time, in the 2030 World Cup, this is the position that we want to be in terms of competing for a World Cup position. So we know we have the quality, but these are the type of games we relish. You know, our players are very much motivated for the game, and yeah, for us, we just have to be focused. And yeah, hopefully we have a good afternoon on Friday, but we know it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of quality in order to come out with the 3 points.
In terms of your team, when you came in, of course, you've had to make a few changes. Yes, I know the team is still considerably young, but like you said, you're still building for the 2030 World Cup. From when you took charge a year ago up until now, where are you? How will you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of where your process has reached?
Oh, I think if you guys know me, I always underrate where we are usually. I still think we've got a lot of distance to go. You know, so I definitely wouldn't rate it more than a 7 out of 10 in terms of, not in terms of the progress, but just in terms of the journey. You know, we've still got maybe 30-40% of the journey left to go. But look, there's lots of things we're very proud of. You know, the last camp here was the first time in Gambian history that the national team had won both qualifiers in a window, which in 60, 70 years of international football is quite amazing. We go, if we can beat Gabon on Friday, it'll be our longest winning run in history. And also, as we talk here today, we're the 4th highest goal scoring team in Africa in the World Cup qualifiers. Now, when I took over, one of the mandates was, look, the Gambian team is a very defensive, counter-attack orientated team, low scoring team. So in 18 months to suddenly find ourselves as the 4th highest goal scoring team in Africa is quite a distance. There's still things to work on. We've got 1 or 2 little defensive things to work on, but yeah, we're happy with where we are, but you know, we're greedy. We always want more, we always want higher standards. So yeah, and this is what Friday's game presents us with, that opportunity to take another step.
Coach, are there any injury updates?
We had a few that had to drop out last minute. Omar Colley, the captain, pulled his hamstring in his club game at the end of the week there, and 1 or 2 others that were in the last squad had to drop out. Adama Bojang, who you saw start against Burundi, has had to drop out, and we had one other dropping out, Bamba Sanyang, who started against Burundi as well. So, but outside of that, everyone's in good condition. And look, I mentioned before, there's good depth in this group, and so yes, we'll miss those guys who've had to drop out through injury, but equally we've promoted some really talented players into the group, so we're not overly concerned about that.
What's your game plan to contain Gabon?
Our game plan's largely to make sure Gabon have to contain us, would be the largest thing. I think you see a lot of the talent we have in our team, and any team on the continent would be concerned about coming up against some of our players, but just because you have the talent and the quality doesn't automatically earn you the 3 points. You've got to put that together in a focused and determined way, but with a lot of passion and a lot of work. So yeah, like for us, we want to make sure Gabon have as many problems to deal with from us as we have to deal with from them.
Coach, over the last 2 months, of course, the infrastructure in Kenya has kind of grown exponentially, and we've seen your team now come to host its home games on Kenyan soil. What is it about the Kenyan environment that has made you, alongside your technical team, to decide that this is where you'll be hosting your remaining games?
Well, look, I think it's twofold. Different reasons for this camp than the previous camp. hosting Burundi here was very much a case of we were playing against Kenya in the first game, so it made sense to stay here and not have to fly between the games. For this game, it's a little bit different. Our second game of this window will be played in Mauritius against the Seychelles, and so coming back to Kenya, where we could sort of copy and paste, you know, the hotel, the training, the buses, making the logistics simple, but also the distance from Kenya to Mauritius there's direct routes from here. There's quite a simple transfer across to Mauritius, and ultimately we didn't want to play both games in Mauritius because, as you know, over there it's an artificial pitch. And look, we don't mind playing on artificial, but at the same time, if we can play on a grass field, we'll choose to play on a grass field. So that drew us back to Kenya, and we had a good reception the last time, the hotel, the federation, the supporters, so you know there was no reason not to come back.
Coach, how have you structured the training sessions to prepare for Gabon and also be ready for Seychelles?
We'll think about Seychelles on Friday evening. We've had zero, our analysts have focused on them, but in terms of a technical staff and the players, we really put zero focus on the second game. It's 100% focus on the first game, and some people might say but it's just the way we work. You know, I've always worked like that. You've got to respect your next opponent enough to give them 100% of your attention, and it doesn't matter who that opponent is. They deserve 100% of your focus, and so we're focused on Gabon. You know, it's been short, energetic training sessions here to make sure we can go out full energy and full quality on Friday. Okay, thank you guys. One more.
You had to choose T-Boy over Alagisa. Why T-Boy, not Alagisa?
Tough decision. We had to leave a few guys out, unfortunately. And look, on a different day, we might have made a different decision. In this case, it was just the decision we made. I'm not going to go into it in more detail. Okay, thank you.
What do you mean as a player to qualify and play the World Cup?
I think that is like if you play football, I think that's a dream, you know, like to be part of, to be qualified to play the World Cup, you know. So yeah, I think if you have that as a player, it's like a big achievement, you know, for sure.
Of course, where you are, Gambia, with 2 games to go against Gabon and then Seychelles, of course, mathematically it's not possible to qualify for the World Cup, but how has preparation been, and do you think over the next 2 games it's possible to get all the points?
Yeah, I think like it's important in football, like, yeah, I think you have to win, you know. That's the first priority, you know, like because like Gabon, they are like one of the biggest team in Africa. So yeah, but like, you know, like football is like sometimes, you know, you just have to do what you can do. Like, doesn't matter like if you are a small team or a big team. So you just have to believe in yourself and you can do it for sure.
It looks like exciting times for Gambian football. Of course, over the last 2 tournaments, of course, in 2021 you guys got to the quarterfinals of AFCON. You reached the group stage again in 2023. Of course, you didn't qualify for 2025, but it looks very exciting. What is it about Gambian football in your view that is making you excited to be a national team player?
Yeah, I think it's really nice, you know, because like it's like everyone dreams, you know, like to be part of the national team, especially like if you play football. Not only in football, like, but maybe like in other sports, like it's a big pleasure, like as a player, like to represent the country. So yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And how is Jonathan McKINSTRY since taking over in 2024? You know, what difference has he brought to the national team and grown from him?
For me, I would say like this is my first time, like first call-up, so I think we are in the right direction. So I think he's doing really well, you know, for the country.
How have
first call-up, replacing the injured captain? How are you prepared to face Gambia for the first time, replacing the captain?
Yeah, for me it's like. You know, I would say it's a big pleasure, like it's a big honor, because like it's like I would say it's like a dream come true. Like when I was young, I really wanted to represent the country, but finally it came, so I'm really happy to be here to be part of the team.